Hey Alexis, for 7.2 part 2, this question number 4 that's been confusing. These ones are kind of tricky when they give you just two numbers within the sequence, and they don't tell you the first one, which we usually use to work with, so they kind of make it a little bit harder. So first thing we want to know is it's saying the sum of the first 10 terms. So remember the sum formula is that S sub n and then n divided by 2. We had two options. So let's choose this option 2, a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d is going to be the formula we're going to use to find the sum of the first 10 terms. So in order to find those first 10 terms, we need to figure out what is a sub 1 and what is d. So if we look at a sub 2 is 5, a sub 4 is 13, well, I know if my sequence went a sub 2, a sub 3, a sub 4, to get to each, and they're telling me it's an arithmetic sequence, so to get to each, I would have to add d. So add d as I progress through. So therefore, I know that my fourth term is going to be, if I start with my second term, if I add 2d, that will get me to my fourth term. And I know numbers for a sub 4 and a sub 2. A sub 4 is 13. A sub 2 is 5 plus 2d. So now I can solve 4d. So 13 minus 5 would be 8 equals 2d. So that means 4 is equal to d. So we have our d. Now we have to find the first term. Well, the first term for an arithmetic sequence, let's just work with a sequence, we know our formula a sub n is going to be the first term plus n minus 1 times d. And we could pick either a sub 4 or a sub 2 because we know those values to represent our a sub n. So I'm going to say 2 is going to be equal to a sub 1 plus my n is 2 minus 1 times d, which I found was 4. A sub 2, I actually know what that number is. That's 5. A sub 1, 2 minus 1 is just 1 times 4. And so I have 5 equals a sub 1 plus 4. So I subtract 4 from both sides. I have 1 is my a sub 1. So I know the first term, and I know this common difference. So now I can go back to my formula here and start to work. So S sub n, I want to find the sum of the first 10 terms. My n is 10 divided by 2. 2 times a sub 1, well, my a sub 1 is 1, plus 10 minus 1 times 4. So now we have all the numbers we can fill in for those missing pieces. So when I work all this out, 5 times 2 plus 9 times 4, you can put that in your calculator, and it ends up being 190. So the tricky part here is recognizing this piece, that how do we use two numbers in there, and what's that difference between each one. I usually just list them out like this. Well, if I'm going from A2 to A4, I'd have A3 in there, so I'm adding D every single time so we can find D. And then this was our sequence formula, because we're trying to find terms in our sequence, so we're going to use our sequence formula. But then this is what we use when we want to sum all of those values. We have a whole nother formula we have to use. So hopefully this helps. Let me know if it doesn't. Send me an email. We can do a Zoom chat, whatever, to make sure that you do understand this one. And I'll extend out this assignment until this Sunday so you can work on this last problem.